Hello viewers, I have another video on government corruption and tyranny. This video was originally over 2 hours long, so I did make some cuts. Not everything is newsworthy. But for the 10 or so people that do follow all my videos, this is a powerful piece to the puzzle. I just want all of my viewers to be fully aware that the government will dogpile on you if you dare challenge their authority. This is a historical and educational documentary of the corruption in Rapid City, South Dakota, and how the city officials abuse their authority to hide their shame and avoid civil liability. They are willing to falsely arrest and maliciously prosecute somebody for trying to address a grievance on members of their government club. In this video, I want to introduce you to Nick Peterson.
As a law clerk, I got to sit and eat lunch with them every day. I know I'm smarter than those guys. I just keep it to myself.
He was my first appointed public defender. You get to hear from Nick how I was unlawfully arrested, so the system,
They're a team,
targeted me with a crime to justify their actions and avoid any civil liability or blemish on their record. They are willing to trade my freedom for their pride, and they will do it to you. Injustice to one is injustice to all. This is the anatomy of a cover-up.
You know, like how Socrates, they call him the gadfly? It's like they were, he was pointing out stuff that needed to be addressed, but it just pissed him off so much they kicked him out of the city and made him be a hermit, even though it's this guy that, he still was speaking the truth. That's kind of what's going on. You were just making their day shitty. And I guess that's kind of like what happens if you make their day shitty. They conspire together to get you arrested for something. Some people get mad when they hear something they don't want to hear.
This video proves how twisted the system is and affirms what we already know. The only difference is, I found a way to get the proof.
That pissed him off.
I am the reason you cannot record anywhere inside the courthouse anymore. They wrote new orders after I documented this meeting with Nick in the courthouse. They knew they were in the wrong, they just didn't know how to stop me from documenting them in the wrong.
They couldn't stop you.
Nick should be outraged that somebody innocent is being targeted by the legal system. He is the one that people rely on to keep the justice system honest, and people can sleep good at night knowing that their city officials operate within the law.
You need to be doing something to be asked to leave and then to not come back. I read these all day long, and if you were really making a disturbance, they would have went in detail what the disturbance was. But whenever they can't really justify what that disturbance means, then they just use the word disturbance and just put a label. Now you're just a disturbance.
He is the one the public relies on to make sure innocent people don't lose their sanity being mistreated by their own government. Innocent people like me turn disgruntled towards their government, outcasted and searching for help that they can't find. Yet Nick was unfazed and accurately predicted the exact outcome of the case. He explains the blueprint of how the courts bypass the Constitution by seeking no jail time. If the state does not seek jail time, I get a bench trial by judge instead of a jury trial by the people. The state will pick a judge that will rule in their favor under threat of negative media attention.
I think there's a lot of feet planted in the ground. They're going to put so much pressure on the state to not let you just dismiss it. If I were them, would be to say, Judge, we're promising that we won't offer any suspended jail time, that it's just going to be a fine, and then that makes it so you're not entitled to a jury trial because it's tied to the Constitution. So if your liberty's not at stake, then you're not entitled to a jury trial. Then it would be a judge only, and if the state's smart, that's what they'll do, because you'll just have a judge who's backed. So they can always do that. They can always say, we're taking jail at the table. Court trial. Judge Hieronymus, or whoever it is, take our side, otherwise we're going to put you in the news.
It is so important that I am found guilty on this so they can avoid any civil responsibility. Listen for yourself how corrupt the state is to deny a jury trial of somebody they know is innocent, and they pick a corrupt judge and hold a trial by judge in order to uphold a conviction of somebody with a lawsuit against the city resting on the outcome of that trial.
It really depends on the outcome of this case as to whether you can even have the potential of doing a civil case against them. And then it really would take kind of the right attorney to work it. Even if they had a lawyer, they still would not procedurally do the right things.
Nick is not outraged.
I don't want to make any more waves.
Because he is not willing to trade his fat privileged job for my justice.
You're in South Dakota and they see me as a guy that's going to have to come in every day, so they treat me a little bit better.
March 2nd, 2/25. I have an appointment with my public defender, Nick Peterson. We gotta meet at the courthouse. So that's where I'm at, near the courthouse over here. Can't meet at his office because I've been trespassed. So Let's see how cooperative they are at the courthouse. Let me photograph, film, document, whatever you want to call it. Protecting myself, that's what I'm doing.
Brian Hyder? Yes. What's your name? Well, we aren't sure if you gotta be escorted wherever it is you're going or not, so we're just gonna make a phone call. Oh, hold on. Yeah, that light might stay on.
Are you Nick?
Yeah.
I'm here to meet you.
Oh, you got court?
They seem to think I need an escort. Yes, they won't let me in.
We want to get them to notarize the paper areas upstairs.
Okay.
Is that possible?
Well, you just gotta call Max.
I'm trying to find it.
That is
Sorry. So, or
He
corporal.
can come in, just wait on that side real quick. And
Oh, you're gonna send my stuff through? Because you're gonna keep me over there, my property over here, you know? I'm not comfortable with it. Okay. I don't seem to understand why I need an escort every time I come. Recognize you from court.
approved for you.
Yeah.
Got you the PR. Remember that.
Yep. Appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm not in a real good mood after all this. I hope I'm not rubbing you wrong.
It's alright.
Here?
Yep.
All right.
I need to sign something. I'm not gonna shake your hand because I'm sick. All right. And pneumonia dated. So.
We need him to sign a waiver of appearance. We just want to go up to the court and get that notarized.
Yeah, let's go.
That's all we want to do.
Can't meet in his office because of.
Yeah, we can't go in, so we gotta meet somewhere else.
We'll have to pass in the courtroom, should we? See if the clerk. Pass it.
Right there.
They're all over the place.
So is there notices up there too?
I didn't, yeah, I don't look for them.
Yeah. They're white on white, so I didn't even notice them. I've been in here so many times. We pass a note, the photography sign, let me know. See you.
We would be filing it. He's not allowed to go into our office building, so that's kind of the reason why. Hopefully, we can get this notarized here.
Yep, that I can do.
Okay. Just have him sign it.
Does he have ID? Do you have ID?
Yep.
Okay, gotta have that.
Oh,
I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
does it work?
I'll give you that back.
Did you read the discovery? 50 pages, approximately, of nothing but following the law.
Would you like a copy?
Sure. Thank you.
Can we get a copy of all the letters I sent to the judge while we're here?
I'm not gonna ask her to do that.
You
I
have
can
them
make
all?
a
I think
copy.
there's 3 of them.
This is all the things. Yep.
I didn't get the letters in the discovery. I think it was too new for that.
There you go.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Should be 3 of them. Sure.
All right. Maybe we can just meet out.
We'll have to go this way.
Oh, okay. He's not allowed in here.
No, he is.
Oh, he is?
So
Could we, yeah, I was wondering, it might be better just to.
If you want to meet here, you can.
Oh, okay.
He,
I
he's
didn't know
not
what
even
the
on an
situation was.
escort. I just kind of choose to kind of go with him because that way no one can say he did anything wrong.
True.
Because he's with me and everything. Every time he's with me, he's golden.
Okay.
So I'm just trying to be more helpful than
Yeah.
a pain in the ass, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Appreciate it.
Well, I hope, yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Right.
Yeah, we'll be here. Thank you.
I think he means it, but I don't really desire an escort every time, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know what the problem is there. I thought maybe you
Every
were allowed in
time,
here.
no, every time I come here, they do that because they're gonna wanna check me for warrants to make sure they're gonna arrest me or let me in.
Sure.
Because they arrested
Just
me
make
one time.
sure I have everything you gave. This is what I received. There's the other one.
I think that's the 3, yep. What is this?
That
I
is.
think I got this with the discovery, right?
Yeah, that's actually from our office. So
Okay,
you have it. You
Yeah.
got this too.
Yep.
Okay, good.
I just wanna make sure you had all copies of the letters of the
This
judge.
is everything, right?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
all 3 of them that I
Good
remember.
deal.
Yeah.
Don't write any more letters. Doesn't help.
Okay.
Um,
I'm trying to get my phone back.
I get
you
where
know.
you're. I totally get where you're at.
Uh-huh.
But I'm telling you that it's just better in your own interest not to, because these judges kind of put you in that category of like. I don't want to say crazy, but that's like what the judges. I mean, as a law clerk, I got to sit and eat lunch with them every day, and like that's pretty much the people that wrote in all the time. They're like they write them off. Like the credibility just goes right out the window if you write all the time. So
Well,
you're allowed
they
to do
was
one or
already
two,
telling
but
me
it,
I was crazy before any of that. You read in all the discovery.
I mean, I
I'm
think-
just asking
yeah.
for public records, and they think I'm crazy.
right. Yeah.
So I don't have to,
You seem like way better today. I mean, I'm just gonna be real honest with you. Like you seem way better than you were in that jail. You know, because remember in the jail,
yeah.
you're like, "What's the First Amendment?" So it's like almost like the attitude you have, like, is what gets people to think you're. Because I noticed, I'm like, okay, this guy is smart, and you like want people to think that you're smart or no?
Well, I definitely
Yeah.
want to be respected,
Yeah.
just like anybody else.
Yeah. So I like tried to. That's why I addressed it with you, even though we didn't have that much time. But I was like, First Amendment is that, but
Yeah.
you know. So if we can just, I guess that's my advice is just to not try to test everybody. But I don't know. I get that. That's probably why you're here. Probably is just because of like a misunderstanding of what you're even trying to do.
Yeah, it's kind of evolved out of control. I didn't expect it to go to this.
What were you doing exactly again?
Documenting and reporting a crime that snowballed into crimes against me for trying to report a crime.
What was the crime?
They were tampering with my mail.
And who's they?
The jail.
The jail was? Okay.
I've already verified with the post
And you
office.
read all this. Let's just kind of go through it, just because then you can tell me what's bullshit.
Okay.
You know, so this is just how it reads. This is just like his summary, but sometimes these summaries reveal some differences too.
Oh yeah.
So, I was dispatched to the courthouse for a subject later identified as Brian, refusing to leave. Did they ever tell you to leave?
At the which building was this?
Leave the public safety building?
Yes.
Lieutenant D has advised Brian was asked to leave the building or he would be arrested. Brian refused and was arrested. Brian was at 306th Street earlier that day and caused a disturbance at the mayor's office. What was going on there?
I was filming.
Filming, yeah.
No different than any other day when I was filming at the post office or at the police department or at the jail.
Uh-huh.
They call that a disturbance. I'm
Right.
documenting what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And if I didn't document it, then no one would believe me and I wouldn't get anywhere with my complaint. And I'd just be wasting my time.
Sure. So, like, were you walking in with, like, a camera or what was going in?
This
like,
was at the police department. It was on my phone. That's why they took my phone.
at the mayor's office? What did you do?
Oh, the same thing. Yeah, I was on my phone.
You just took your phone out and was holding it like that?
Yeah.
Or, okay, I just was wondering because, like, it must have pissed him off somehow. So it must have been, like, kind of overt. You know what I mean? Where it
Sometimes
was-
I'm holding it down. Sometimes I hold it up. It just depends.
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
I don't think it really is a disturbance. So you were filming just to make sure that they weren't doing anything shady or...
Just that they wouldn't ignore me on my complaint, and I was
Okay.
documenting a complaint, and I already knew that the the complaint was about one of his co-workers, somebody he plays softball with all the time, that sort of thing. So I knew that he was gonna protect his buddy more than this stupid, crazy outsider with a camera. So they just decided to arrest me instead.
Yeah. No, I could tell you're, like, smarter than the average guy. So I
Yeah.
was like, I gotta treat you a little bit differently, which it helped. But, yeah. You can just trust yourself that you're smarter than most of these people out here. And, I think it pisses them off every time you remind them. So just don't do that. I don't do it. I know I'm smarter than those guys, but I
Right.
just don't. I just keep it to myself.
Right.
So
They're the one that arrested me, though, so I can't ignore
I
that.
know.
And I was trying
then
to
you like to-
report a crime, and I have every right to report the crime.
Yeah. So, how are they tampering with your mail?
They were opening it, and then they put a form in there, and then they mailed it back to me without putting postage on it. So they got free postage to return it. After you open mail, you can't return to sender.
What form?
There was a form in there that they said that there was inappropriate photos, and they removed them.
Did you think they were?
No, they were,
What were they?
mocking religion.
Okay.
So they found them offensive, whether it was legally offensive or not.
Yeah. How were you doing it? How were you mocking religion?
Just jokes. It was just
Yeah.
stuff like on Facebook.
You're not gonna offend me, I promise you. I
Uh-huh.
just want to know what's on the photo. What's on the photo?
Just like jokes from Facebook. I don't remember
Okay, like
exactly
written
which one it
jokes?
was. Yeah, just like like a crying baby, and there was
Yeah.
a priest, and he's
Like a
smiling real
meme?
big.
You hear they call 'em memes?
Yeah,
On the
yeah,
internet?
those.
Was
Yeah,
it a
that's
meme?
all it was. Yeah, just
Okay.
funny stuff against religion.
Pictures and words.
Yeah.
On the internet.
Things about priests and being pedophiles and that sort of thing.
Okay. And they took that out, and you were in the jail when you sent it.
No.
Or okay.
I'm free man.
You were sending it to the jail.
Yep, to
Who-
inmates.
Okay.
I don't even remember their names. There was just a few different girls I was writing at random. I never even met them before.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Just because I was bored. I
Putting
broke
out-
up with some girl and I was just fucking depressed or something, so I'm trying to fucking
Putting out
write some
feelers?
girls. Yeah.
All right. That's fine.
And they didn't like, you know, my views maybe, because they read all that stuff and they look at the photos and they're probably religious, so they don't like that kind of thing.
Maybe. Yeah.
Well, there's some kind of reason why they started tampering with my mail, and they did it unlawfully. And I don't know if
Yeah.
they're doing it just to me or to everybody, so I decided to report it.
Right. The jail is allowed to look at all the mail.
I understand that.
That's the only issue we have to kind of run into, but I get what you're at too.
Yeah, they're not allowed to send it back without postage. Because I've been to federal prison, that
And so
stuff
did it
happens
ever
all the
get
time.
sent to those people, or never? What?
No,
like-
they never got it.
Obviously the photos were taken out, but nothing was sent to the people that you're meant to send it to.
No, they sent it back to me.
Okay. And you're like, hey, I paid a postage for us.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and then I complained to the post office, and they're talking about they're going to return all my mail now. And they're going to return it postage due, so I got to pay just to pick it back up.
Well, are you gonna write more to the jail?
I have been, yeah, but I've been
Okay.
keeping them short because I ain't putting much time into it because they're just probably gonna block it and say I'm trespassed. And
Are you just
use that
doing the
tres-
same thing where you're just mailing to people you don't even know?
Yeah, well, the same girls now they're more interested because they're like, well, what's going on?
Okay, well, I'm just gonna read through, and then you're gonna interrupt me and just be like, "That's wrong," and then we'll go
Okay.
through it.
All right.
So it's like a true false. Be like false. All right. So March 6th, everything's good on the date. Right around 10 o'clock in the morning, I was dispatched to the courthouse. Sergeant Fees requested assistance. I arrived at Sergeant Fees, advised Brian was refusing to leave the public safety building. Lieutenant Diaz advised Brian he needed to leave or he would be arrested. Failure to vacate. Brian refused to leave and was placed under arrest. I walked Brian down to the booking area from the PSB lobby. While in the booking area, I was explaining to him he'd be issued notice of trespass, and then if he were to go back to the addresses, he would be arrested. Brian told me, I think that's unlawful, but okay, which I think is pretty close. I mean, they're in a weird area, especially if you're just filming in a public building.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's what you're telling me in that jail.
Yep.
And I agreed with you because I was like, that's pretty much right. You can ask someone to leave. See, we're in a weird area of law. We are. You need to be doing something to be asked to leave and then to not come back.
Yeah.
So
And I'm
this
doing
isn't this
a
isn't
First
Walmart.
Amendment protective activity. Yeah.
This isn't a business. I asked Brian if his address was still on Columbus Street. He told me he was not answering any personal questions. Nice. I asked Brian if he was going to hurt himself while he was in jail, which is a bait question. He told me he was not answering any questions. Nice. I told Brian if it was for suicide watch for the jail. Brian then told me he was not going to hurt himself because he did not want him to be put in the white gown. They wanted to put you in the white gown.
Yeah.
He then told me he would not answer any more questions. As I was waiting for jail staff to finish the booking process, Brian told me he was trespassed from the post office yesterday. I asked him why. He said it was for videotaping. Brian then started to... Do you just videotape for like... You just stand there and videotape, or is it just while you're talking to him?
Yeah. Well, I'm talking to him.
And then,
Just like I'm
when
doing
you're
right
not
now.
talking to him, you just stand up to the side, or what's going on?
Depends on the situation. If
How long
there's
do you stay
anything
there?
worth video recording, then I'm gonna video record. I'm gonna stand it up. I'm gonna look at them.
Were you
And
there
when
for
they-
like hours, or no?
Where is this at? The post office? you
Post
said?
office, yeah.
No, I was there just waiting in line like anybody else, and I was just there for like a minute, and then they called a supervisor, and then they noticed I was video recording.
That's what I assume.
Yeah, so it wasn't like I was there
You've never been
forever.
like just standing for hours anywhere.
No,
Okay.
I always had a
That
reason.
was kind of a key question because it's like maybe you wouldn't be allowed to videotape for hours like that.
Yeah, if it's more
'Cause
like a protest thing.
What
it
I like to
wasn't
try to
anything
imagine
like
is like if everyone did it. You know?
Uh huh. Yeah,
Everyone couldn't do that. You
Right.
know? Shit would go crazy if it did.
but you could
But
record
you could do
just
it
like I
standing
am
in
doing
line.
right now. Yeah.
What you're saying, standing in line, and while your interaction with whoever you're dealing with,
Yeah.
you could
It wouldn't be any different than wearing a body camera everywhere I
You
go.
have a good issue, good legal issue. It's a class 1 misdemeanor. I don't want to spend, too much money on this. I mean, it's your money that we're playing with. I don't want to
So
spend too much
if
of
I'm
it.
not guilty, then I don't have to pay, right?
No, you still gotta pay.
Huh. Well, I'm suing them for it.
Yeah, you can do that civilly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna keep going. As I was waiting for the jail staff to finish the booking process, Brian told me he was trespassed with the post office yesterday. I asked him why. He said it was for videotaping. Brian started to talk about how police did not know what the First Amendment was. He said photography was not illegal. He asked me if I knew about the First Amendment. I told him I did not need to explain myself to him. Brian said the mayor needed an education about the First Amendment. Brian said to me, I blame the public school systems and your training. That pissed him off. Like, that shouldn't even be in this report.
Yeah.
Really. A correctional officer came out to finish the booking process. The CEO asked Brian if he was going to hurt himself, or they really wanted to put you in that chair, or if he had an immediate medical issues. Brian said he was not going to answer any questions. The CEO put the PB2 up to his mouth. He refused any search and seizures, then called over the radio to have Brian walked into the holding cell. Brian told, you never blew, right? Yeah, they didn't have any probable cause. Brian told the jail staff he was late for his meeting with the chief. Who's the chief?
Chief of police.
Okay. What's his name?
I don't remember. It's on one of these forms in here, though.
Okay, what were you meeting him for?
About the trespass, the unlawful order to leave post office. I just
Okay.
wanted to clear it up that I wasn't doing anything wrong, and I still was told that I couldn't go back to the post office. So I just wanted to meet with him and explain to him that I did have that right, and they arrested me for it.
You have a good issue at this point. I told Brian after he was in the holding cell he was trespassed from 307 Joseph Street and then this administration building. So these are the three. What's 307 Joseph?
That's the jail.
Jail. Courthouse.
No.
300 isn't?
That's the police department. Yeah, public safety building, police department, same thing. And then the other one is the Pennington County Administration. I forget the address on it.
130.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yep. I advise a copy of the warning with the listed addresses would be in his property. It should be noted, Brian was called in by Chief Jaggeries at 306th Street earlier today. Brian was angry and causing disturbance at the mayor's office, or you said that.
I got the video. I was never angry. I was never
mean-
any more excited than I am right now.
Here's kind of like the red flag that comes up. I mean, I read these all day long, and like, if you were really making a disturbance, they would have went in detail like what the disturbance was.
Yeah.
But whenever they can't really justify what that disturbance means, then they just use the word disturbance and just put a label. Now you're just a disturbance. You know.
Did you see how they explain how I take my jacket off all slow and like dangerous? Like, oh, it's
Nothing
it's
on-
in there
is it in
somewhere.
here?
Yeah,
Okay,
there's
we'll
a
see
couple of reports in there that talks about how I take my jacket off. Like, it's disturbing how I take my jacket off.
They have the weirdest reasons. They're like, oh, I thought he was gonna. They always feel threatened for their safety. Okay, this is talking about your cell phone. Okay, went into evidence. You're not the first. Everyone freaks out when their phone goes into evidence.
Yeah,
It sucks.
but unlawfully.
I know, that's even worse. I mean, you have a civil claim, and that's the other thing. It's super difficult to actually go after them, but civil attorney would have to take, and you'd have to get him for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been unlawful. I agree with you on that. CEO retrieved the cell phone, which was still powered on. The phone was silver iPhone with a red clear case on it. I put the phone in airplane mode and powered it off. I was advised by Lieutenant Diaz to give the phone to Hirsch, place it into evidence, which is where it is. Rusty. Okay. Nothing so far has been false. It's all been true.
Except for, the disturbance, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything, no.
Yeah, how they characterize that.
Yeah. I got a lot of video of some of these reports, and they're not.
You were requesting to be pat searched?
Yeah.
Okay, why?
Because they were threatening to arrest me if I went back to the post office, so I wanted to get pat searched before I went to the post office. That way, if they showed up, they didn't want to plant something on me because they didn't have a reason to arrest me.
Okay, and public safety was where the cops are? Or?
Yeah, that's the
okay.
police department.
Okay. Michelle stated that she spoke with the same person on. I mean, that's a huge red flag. I mean, you have to know that.
Yeah.
When you go, hey, I need to be searched before I go to the post office.
Yeah, but what's the harm in it? They're making sure I'm.
It's just a huge red flag.
Yeah.
You know, that's all it is. They're like, what's going on here?
Suspicious. It's not a crime, though.
No, and also just you can tell it's like you're battling and they're battling back.
Mm-hmm.
This is how it's characterized to me.
But it's
as
like
I
a
read
million
this.
of them against one of me.
Yeah.
A total obstruction. They can't even pat me down.
I agree.
I'm just
It is.
I'm
It's
just
a
looking for a
1,000 to
little
1.
bit of cooperation, a little bit.
No, they just shoved your face into the ground.
Yeah.
But that's what happened.
Not one of them was on my side.
No. They're a team.
Mm-hmm.
While speaking with Brian, he asked me to pat search him. I asked Brian what the purpose of the pat search was. At some point, Brian explained that he wanted me to verify that he was not carrying any type of illegal drugs on this person. Brian stated this will help verify that during his next interaction with law enforcement, if any drugs are found, they would have been planted. I explained to Brian that if I were to pat him down, I would not have any effect, or would not have any effect on future interactions with law enforcement, which is kind of what I would.
But I'd have my camera running the whole time.
I think that would be the red flag if I were there. And if someone's asking me to pat search them, I'd be like, he's gonna go get something later and then say he was pat searched.
Yeah.
I told Brian I was not going to pat search him for the stated reason. Explained it was too intrusive to do without cause. Brian was recording me with his cell phone, which again didn't even need to be in this, but I'm gonna highlight that because you can tell that's what bothers him. At some point during our conversation, Brian mentioned that the chief was probably at the mayor's office because of him. A short time later, Brian left the public safety building. I later received information that Brian had been involved in altercations at the. So again, it was a bunch of little things that this is what got you here. A short time later, Rapid City Police Sergeant Fees, Diaz, and Hedrick spoke to Brian in the lobby of the public safety building. Were they trying to calm you down?
I wasn't excited or nothing.
Were they trying to talk you into being
They're-
hey guy, be cool?
No, they're trying to find a way to arrest me.
Okay. At 10 o'clock, I observed Brian walking around the lobby. So then, you left the lobby and then you went back?
Yeah.
Okay. Did they tell you to leave?
No, not that time.
Okay.
They were making me feel unwelcome, though.
How long were you gone?
I don't remember. I'd have
You-
to check the videos.
Like a half hour or more?
Half hour, an hour, possibly, about that long.
Brian had his cell phone out and appeared to be recording. I approached Brian and asked him if he had any lawful reasons to be there. Brian stated that he was just there recording. I left Brian in the lobby so I could contact Rapid City Police. A few months later, I walked out into the lobby while they spoke. Diaz spoke to Brian and advised him that he needed to leave the area unless he had official business.
I was there to meet the chief, right?
I don't think that's the
Photography's not a
reason.
crime anyway.
That's a good one. Brian refused to leave and advised that he was ready to be arrested, placed him in handcuffs, and he arrested. Essentially. They're trying to lay down several citizens were attempting to speak but were delayed.
Yeah, they were delayed because of them.
Yeah, it's like they have no responsibility, and having 3 or 4 guys come and talk to you, it's like this whole report sounds like they weren't very busy.
Yeah. Yeah, there wasn't anybody there except for those 3 people that walked in right at the very end.
Mm-hmm. So this is why you're here. That's what they're gonna say. That's what everything they're gonna say that you had a pattern of being an asshole. That's what they're gonna say.
Mm-hmm. But it doesn't matter because I'm
you can
there.
be an asshole.
Yeah.
I think that's what, honestly, if we were to give us a whole theme on this whole case, it's not illegal to be an asshole.
Yeah.
'Cause
I'm
then
not being an asshole to people.
and
I'm just
you
to
really
them,
not.
I guess.
But to a jury, they're gonna go, oh, yeah. It covers it covers that end where they're like, well, like, is this a good guy or a bad guy, or like, are you doing it? It's more about what this stands for.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think you're an asshole.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is, like, even if they think you are, you're still not. You didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Yeah, they're
Is
trying
that,
to
like,
paint me
even
out
if
like,
even if you go and believe everything they said, all that leads to, if you believe that shit, is that he's an asshole. There's still
Yep.
nothing illegal about it.
Yep.
Okay.
Right.
I was like, the first time around, I didn't word it right.
Uh-huh.
It takes me a while to kind of work it out. But
Yeah. I hear what
I like
you're
to hear what a theme is. So if we were to go to trial on it, which is kind of what I'm already ready to do,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't think they're gonna. I think there's a lot of feet planted in the ground.
Right.
These cops are already not. They're gonna put so much pressure on the state's attorneys
Mm-hmm.
to like not let you just dismiss it, like where we'll have a plea agreement right up. So I think we just go as fast as we can to trial if you're okay with that,
Yeah.
because it puts pressure on them.
Yeah, I was hoping that's what we could do, but I didn't want to be out of jurisdiction and get a bad trial and stuff. You know, if this is going to be a federal
Well, it's gonna be no
case.
matter. Oh no, it won't be federal.
Well, you know, in the reports, it includes stuff talking about the post office, and it says that's involved in this case and stuff like that. So,
If you were charged federally, then you would be in that count, like in that category. You don't want to remove yourself in a federal court. I was a federal law clerk for Judge Corman up in Aberdeen for a year. Federal court is not where you want to be because of the sentencing guidelines. It's the worst manual, but basically you plead to something. It's like a choose your own adventure book. It's like, all right, you're admitting to these facts, or you're admitting to this charge, but if it involves these facts, flip to this crime. Now we're going to get you for this.
yeah.
It's so much more harsh. You be happy that you're in state court.
Everybody was telling me you take it to
What we
federal
want
because-
is for them to give you to not drop any jail time. What we want is the prospect of some jail time, because then that makes you entitled to a jury trial. Even if they're saying suspended jail time. What could be sneaky for the state, and if I were them, I would be to say, Judge, we're promising that we won't offer any suspended jail time, that it's just going to be a fine, and then that makes it so you're not entitled to a jury trial, because it's tied to the Constitution. So if your liberty's not at stake, then you're not entitled to a jury trial. So then it would be a judge only, and that's what if the state's smart, that's what they'll do,
Yeah, because then I won't get a fair trial.
because you'll just have a judge who's backed with all the other bullshit.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's why I need it.
But I want to let you know what that avenue's like.
Uh-huh.
So you can kind of decide now, knowing everything.
Yeah.
You're in the driver's seat, but I just want to let you know that could be the sneaky move they do. And there won't be one thing I can do about it, because it's up to them. They're just taking something off the table. So they can always do that. They can always just say, we're taking jail off the table. Court trial. Judge Hieronymus, or whoever it is, take our side. Otherwise, we're going to put you in the news.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. But again, he still has to follow the law. You can still appeal it. You might have to. Might be one of those issues.
Just
You
drags it out
appeal
long.
it, you go to the state Supreme Court, where you'd actually have a real analysis on the law. And they might even like create law
Yeah.
in the state. So that could be cool.
Yeah.
So
Make my
this is
name
how I
up.
see this case going.
Yeah.
I got my phone ringing on me. So this is about the mayor office. I'm just gonna get to the meat of it. He met with executive coordinator Kelsey Sackos. He was not very clear in what he wanted, but explained he was having issues with his jail mail. He explained the jail had told him he needed to fill out some form, and he wanted to complain to the mayor's office about the process. Sackos explained her office did not oversee the jail, but she did take down his number and agreed she would obtain more information if she could. On the 28th, he came into the public service safety building. We kind of already went over that. Filing a complaint on an employee. They directed to the jail commander. Okay. Man, they really don't like that. But
The
you could
phone?
tell they couldn't
Yeah.
stop you.
Yeah.
Arrived again at the jail administration lobby. I mean, if I were to do it, I would just say, this bothered you, didn't it? And then
Yeah.
they'd either have to say yes or no, and be like, if they said no, then I'd just say, why was it in the report? Like, you mentioned it 4 times. But
Yeah.
we agree it's not relevant to the trespass. You don't need to have a phone to trespass.
Right.
Like, that's what I'd say.
Yeah.
Arrived again at the jail administration lobby. Spoke with staff. Stephen Little. During his conversation, he again requested policies on the mail. He was likewise pointed to the website. He attempted to photograph Little's badge, but Little flipped it around, telling him he could not photograph it for security reasons. He left, but came back after wishing to speak with the jail commander. I mean, I'm gonna look. What are they afraid of?
Yeah, they're making that up.
That's
It's
a public.
just like
That's
other
another
stuff.
badge. The badge is for public.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't have anything that should be a security risk. Period. Like, why are you putting out anything that's security risk on your badge?
Right. Yeah, they wouldn't publish something if it's a danger.
He left, but came back later, wishing to speak with the jail commander. This, in turn, generated extensive information and documented in the jail incident. He arrived for a second visit into the mayor's office. Again, he was using his phone to record the contact. On this day, he explained he was not actually a jail inmate, but was trying to send mail to the jail. He was still vague about his request. Psychos again told him there was nothing the mayor's office could do to help him with his jail mail. She again referred him to the jail or county commissioners who possibly could help more. She gave him contact information for both, and he left.
So you know when these people refer me to somebody else, because that's where I'm supposed to go, and then they refer me to wrong peoples and stuff, and then they think like I'm harassing them. Like,
That's
hey,
all this
you know,
all reads. It's like, but again, there's nothing really that wrong.
Right.
Like, what they could have just done is said the jail's entitled to open the mail, and maybe we messed up on the stamp, but here's a stamp.
Yeah. Right. They could have cleared it up really easy, but they're like.
But we open up every letter.
Yeah, they're
then-
so hard.
And then they just say it's our call on what we think is inappropriate, period. It's our shit.
Because I was in federal prison, I know that they have a specific line that they have to follow with the no nudity thing. So they have businesses out there that make money on these photographs, or prison-friendly photographs. And if they used to send it here to the jail and the jail returned them, they're affecting their business, which is a legal business. They can't just pick and choose what they want to let in and not let in. They have to follow the law. So that's when I decided, I'm like, well, why are they stopping my photos? They're supposed to let that stuff in. I'm just mocking religion. It's not even anything to do with nudity. They're just doing what they want to do. So that's why it kind of upset me, and I went down there to complain about it. And then it also stood out that because in federal prison, when you get something that you're not supposed to have, then you're responsible for paying the postage to send it back, or else they just throw it in the trash. So they didn't ask anybody about the postage. They just sealed it up and sent it back. It's not a huge deal, but it stood out to me. It's unlawful. So they're either doing it to me or they're doing it to everybody.
Probably to everybody, and it is. They just think it's a pick and choose.
Yeah.
They get paid $10 or maybe $9 an hour. They get some power to do that.
Yeah.
I see it. I see it
Yeah.
all the time.
Corruption. Yeah. Give them a little
Can you
power.
stop it from that? It's like, probably not. It's so systemic. Like, I mean, you were kind of found out. Like, you're not going to be able to change the policy by going from building to building, because it is one big fucking team.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
They're all on the same team. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the reason why we're very separate from the state's attorney's office, because we don't want to even be around.
It's the same building, though, isn't it?
We're in the same building. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I got a.
Yeah, it's a new building, and we wanted that upstairs office.
Yeah.
It's a nice office. That's why we got it.
I can't even get to see it. I paid for it.
You can't even get to see it. You
You
don't even get to. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. This
Fucking
is
sucks.
it's interesting the way they see things.
Well, and then that's the other thing too, is once this goes away, then you'll be okay to do it, most likely. But that's again, they're like, just be guilty, and it's all gonna be fine.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah, then I can't come back.
I mean, me and you are on the same page. I'm not gonna ask you to ever take any deal. I'm gonna tell you deals they give us. My goal will just be to just think we're going to trial on this.
All right, so we're
And
gonna
you can
file
kind of
for.
you can pull the plug whenever you want.
We're gonna file for a speedy trial then. That way they
Well,
can't.
that's
delay
already
it.
there.
Oh, okay, all right.
So 180 days
All right.
is when we want to do it. Or that's the timeline. So when this started, they have to give you a trial within 180. Might as well just rush forward with it.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there was in the Discovery when it talks about the the records girl. and she said I was telling some story about some breasts of some girls or something.
Yeah.
And she said it was inappropriate.
You could just tell it's a lot of shit talking, and they're like, well, what else did he do? What else did he do? What else did he do?
They're just trying
And
to
they're
find
like,
something.
Well, he was recording me. And they're like,
But I was actually telling her a good story that I was from Arizona, and that Sheriff Joe Arpaio, he liked to have a video recording in the booking department, and it was hooked up live to the internet, and anybody can go on the internet and view in booking and link into this camera. And he did it kind of for punishment or something to show the public, you know, this is what happens when you go to jail. But I guess there was a girl fight is what I heard, and a girl got exposed, and I just went like this, you know, I was telling the girl, you know, a girl got exposed like this, and she thought that was weird, and she said, started talking about breasts, and she changed the subject. Like trying to make me out to be some crazy weirdo.
these people, I mean, well, yeah, I guess you just learned that even if they act like they're your friend, they're not your friend.
I know, definitely, yeah. Because
I
we were
know
totally
that.
cool. I got the whole video and everything.
Even this cop was like, his answer was very police-like. I'm doing this just so that then I can make sure that nothing bad happens.
For
like,
my benefit,
yeah,
for my
for
safety.
we're only doing it for you, Brian.
Yeah.
Bullshit,
Yeah.
dude. And then I never respond to that, because then all it does is just draw attention that you're calling them out on that. It's better just to recognize it and
People like dumb people.
try to operate it around
Yeah.
without
I've
them
been doing that
without
for
them
years.
knowing.
I've been doing that for years until I turn the camera on and I'm calling
That's
them
what
out.
lawyers
on it.
do. We just go, thank you.
Yeah. You know, that's what they treat you in jail all the time. You're like, hey, man, I was going to get bonded out. Why am I still here? They're like, oh, I'll check on it. Hour later. Oh, I'll check on it. Hour later. I'll check on it.
Like, they should just be like, well, I get paid $9 an hour, so
Yeah.
probably not,
Yeah.
because because I hate my life and I'm in jail for my job.
Yeah. We should,
That's how I'm like, oh yeah, this guy's had the worst job ever.
yeah.
put it
I
in
gave him a
fiction.
hard time in booking. You didn't hear the big shitty stories, huh?
Well, I saw that you were in Reds, or whatever they
Yeah.
call it, the red
Yeah.
uniform.
Yeah.
And everything made sense when you were in red uniform with a criminal trespass charge.
Yeah.
I went, whoa.
From
And
the
then you
chief.
said, what's the First Amendment? I was like, okay. I got it in 5 seconds. I was like,
Yeah.
okay. You
Yeah.
pissed them off. They put you in a red suit because you pissed them off.
Yeah. Well, I was.
And then I'm like,
flooding
oh, you're
myself.
getting out. Like I was thinking you weren't gonna get out because you're in reds, and I didn't know what you're getting charged with yet.
Yeah.
But then I looked at it right away. I'm like, oh, you're getting out for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you pissed people off.
Yeah. I didn't even break the law.
That's why I decided, I'm like, all right, I'll answer your questions. You're my first guy of the day too. I'm still relatively new. I was working with Matt Kenny, if you know him. He's in Spearfish. He does just only privately retained work.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm used to doing, is just doing retained criminal work. But I was doing a bunch of other like civil stuff that I didn't like doing, so that's why I did this. I just want to specialize in doing this.
Yeah. Did you hear I was arrested again a second time for trespass?
No,
I had to bond out. Yeah.
after I appeared with you,
Yep.
Did they put you in reds again?
They didn't change me out that time.
Okay.
They kept me for about 10 hours and let me out.
Okay.
But I came to the courthouse here to drop off a letter to the judge, and they had a warrant waiting for me.
There's a lot of message sending that's going on to you. They're trying to send messages that like, hey, guys,
I'm not
like,
welcome.
Yeah, they're like, we're gonna show you. Yeah. So you're on the radar, whatever. But so don't get caught doing anything worse. That's honestly my biggest advice for you, is that they will be trying. I mean, I don't know what's going on, but be careful
Yeah.
for a while, because they would be so happy to get you for something worse. They
Yeah.
could give you
It was an outdated one, and it needed a tray for the SIM card in here, so I had to wait a few days. So I was a few days for that.
I think filming people in these public buildings, these people, they're like kind of like librarian personalities. You shove a camera in their face, they start getting angry. But again, it's not illegal.
No, it's not. And
So
there's a lot of people that
this
get
makes
it.
a lot of sense, and I think you just have to explain it like that. All right, well, what did you do?
Yeah, there's a lot of people that get it and some people that don't.
Mm-hmm.
And this town just does not get it. There's a lot of people in Texas, and once they catch on, it's like a wildfire.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's going to understand the purpose of filming in public and public officials. And,
It's accountability.
yep, they can't lie because they lie all the time just to make their job easier. It's not that they're trying to be a criminal. They're just not trying to deal with stuff. But yet they'll put a 50-page report on somebody like me.
Yeah.
I didn't understand. I was not expecting that.
That's true. No, you had a long report.
And I got video
For these guys, that would
every
take them
single
like 2
one.
hours, I bet. Or
Yeah.
3 hours.
Yeah. And then they got to contact each other. Oh, you heard from this guy. I need a report now.
Yep. Yep.
That was ridiculous.
Kind of reveals how much time they have.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, I would love to get a jury trial.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's my plan for you, too.
Yeah, good.
This would be a good jury trial for you.
Yeah. I couldn't lose on a jury trial. There's no way.
Oh, I mean, if we do a jury trial, you got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
The only thing is that you're paying me to do it.
Uh-huh.
That's the only thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be always upfront with you on what the pros and cons are, because there really, even if you decide to, plead guilty today, the con is you never got to stick it to them. You never got to say your story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sometimes you get to say your story, and you'll feel so much better,
Yeah.
just because you got 12 random people listening to it.
Yeah.
So
And it cost me thousands of dollars. I'm not going to be happy with it. There's going to be another story to it.
a jury trial would probably, it might be in the $1,000, $2,000 range.
Yeah. Huh.
It's cheaper than any other private attorney. If you went with Matt, it would cost $5,000 at minimum for a jury trial.
Yeah. A lot of people go with the public defenders and they only get charged a couple $100 though.
Yeah, then no one goes to jury trial.
Yeah.
You're kind of in that maybe 5% case.
Yeah.
I'll try to keep it as low as possible because we already know our story. We don't need to really change a whole lot. Not a whole. Was there anyone around you? Any other people to back you up?
No, I've been pretty
Witness-wise?
much on my own the whole time.
Okay,
Nobody
so-
wants to even go near me now. They all think I'm being watched or something.
They even know it. But so nothing's gonna really change on our end. We already kind of worked out a lot in terms of deciding what the facts are. We're on the same page with the facts. So I'm gonna try to keep it as low as possible. Really, the only thing is just me being there the whole day, or whatever, how long it takes for a jury trial. It's $95 an hour.
Yeah. When do I get my $1,000 back for that second arrest?
You paid $1,000
Uh-huh.
for what?
To get out of jail.
On a bond for not this,
Yeah, for that second arrest.
but the second arrest. So they did $1,000 cash surety, and you paid cash.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's still pending, so when the case is over, you get it back.
With the phone. Both together.
Yeah, the bond is just there so you show up.
Uh-huh.
So they can always take it if you don't show up.
Yeah. I didn't know if it was just the next court date or at the trial.
It's to hold over your head so you show up.
Okay.
So, and then it's called exonerated. It's bond is exonerated. That's what they'll say when you're done.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll probably, if you get fines, they apply it towards the fines and give you the difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, they'll probably give you that money, right?
No, I don't get any of the bond stuff.
Oh, okay.
And don't worry about paying me because I get paid just a salary. And then this is good to know. Pay all your fines first before you pay the attorney's fees. You have to work it out with the auditor, and they're a lot better with payment plans. A lot better.
Well, I can just
So
put
pay
it
the
off.
attorney fees last.
Yeah. I can just put that off with payments until my court's all done.
Yep, that's what I would do. Pay off everything else.
Yeah. I shouldn't have any fines though.
No. Yep, you shouldn't. But here you are.
Yeah. Huh.
You're not that bad of a guy, and that's honestly what I'll just say.
Yeah.
This is, you're like, like how Socrates, they call him the gadfly. It's like he was pointing out stuff that needed to be addressed, but it just pissed him off so much they kicked him out of the city, made him be a hermit.
Yeah.
Even though it's this guy that he still was speaking the truth. That's kind of what's going on. You were just making their day shitty.
Yeah.
In their own head, I don't know, but I guess that's kind of like what happens if you make their day shitty. They conspire together to get you arrested for something.
Yeah.
Like, well, Yeah, look up that story about Socrates. They called him a gadfly, which means annoying as fuck.
Nobody liked him, just like me.
The fly that would be like this. That's what like the story tells. Like, everyone knows this guy's really smart. Socrates is fucking smart, and he knew what he was saying. It just really was annoying. No one wanted to hear it.
Yeah. They didn't want to do it the right way.
So that's how I say it's kind of a good theme too.
Yeah.
Some people, some people get mad when they hear something they don't want to hear.
Mm-hmm. But I shouldn't get arrested for it.
No.
And they shouldn't take my phone.
No.
They shouldn't.
And there won't be really hardly any recourse unless you get an attorney to go on and get them for fucking with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we jump over this hurdle first, and then we get to the next one.
Uh-huh.
If we don't even get to this hurdle, then it doesn't matter.
Uh-huh.
So, alright. Well, I'll see you on the 12th, 1 o'clock.
Okay.
What day is that? Is that a Tuesday?
I don't know.
Let's see what that is. I'm interested. Friday. Next Friday.
Alright. I'll definitely be there.
I'm trying to speak with Nick Peterson.
May I ask who's calling? I can check with you then.
Big Shitty?
What was the first name?
Big
Big, and the last name?
Shitty?
It was you that left the voicemail.
You're right.
Giggling this morning going, is he saying Big Shitty?
Yeah, that's me.
Alright, hold on one moment.
All right.
Hi, this is Nick.
Hey, this is Big Shitty.
Hey, yeah, so we were playing a little bit of phone tag.
Yep.
You called me and I called you a few times. I think it was twice here.
Yeah.
But no big deal. I actually think we should probably meet up to look the video over if you want.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is I'm going to have an issue with you not being able to come in.
Yeah.
So we'll probably have to do something stupid where we have to meet up at the courthouse again.
They have
We'll figure
a.
out a way where we can watch the video.
I have problems at the courthouse where they don't even make me feel wanted there, so I don't want to meet at the courthouse. And they have a place at the library. They have a study room in there, and we can meet in there. It's a public building, and we'll have privacy.
Let me know how that works out. But
Yeah, you can just.
the only other issue is I'm not really allowed to just go. I'm really allowed to do that. But I think we'll see if I can try to do that. But
Why would you not be allowed to do that?
Well, because like just imagine I have about 100 and some cases. If I were to go from the library to a coffee shop to another place, it just wouldn't work.
I understand that, but this is a police problem that caused this. So yeah, I definitely agree with you that I need to meet in your office. They shouldn't be causing either one of us any problems. I haven't caused any problems there, and if they've documented any kind of problems, then you can show me that, because I haven't caused any problems in that office, in that whole building.
I don't think you have.
Yeah.
I'm just going off of what I was told, which is you can't. I mean, what I do know is that you still have like a standing order not to be in this building, which sucks. But
And it's all unlawful.
It has
Yeah.
nothing to do with our office.
Yeah. So definitely, when we go back to court, can we find a way to address that then, or before that? Because we still need to meet. We got a case to deal with.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I know. I mean, we did an hour and a half half meeting last time.
Yeah.
And I think you're right when you go over the video. I mean, you're kind of the hardest case I have in terms of logistics. I don't really have any of these issues with any other case, so I'm just gonna have to try to figure it out with you. Whether it's the library or not, I think I could probably make that work, but just gotta make sure you're really to understand I'm kind of going above and beyond to do that.
Well, if you understand where I'm coming from, you wouldn't have a problem doing that, or fighting for my rights to be able to go to your office. I have card tags coming up at the end of this month that I need to pay for, and I still can't go into that building.
Well, I'm saying I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try to do it. Get a date on here, otherwise we'll just be spinning our wheels. Monday's out. Tuesday could work. Wednesday I'm a little bit more busy. I would say Thursday I'm pretty wide open. Want to do Thursday?
Sure.
Some time, actually. Could do 10 o'clock, so they can go all the way to noon if we have to.
Alright. Where do we meet?
Courthouse, specifically where we were before those tables.
I'm not allowed to record in there, so we need to meet at the library like I was telling you before.
What?
Remember?
Allowed to record?
Yeah, I'm not allowed to record at the courthouse. They're giving me problems there. So I need to go somewhere I can document. It doesn't matter.
You'll be with me. If we run into issues, I'll go to the library with you, but
Okay.
I've been instructed to not do that.
Instructed to not do what?
To go other places but the courthouse.
Oh yeah, okay. I understand that, but this is a special situation that they caused. I didn't cause this. And if you don't
Right
understand.
now, that's kind of my order, is to show you on the laptop in the courthouse.
Uh-huh. Well, you're taking orders from...
If you run into issues, I'll promise I'll fight for you, whatever. I'll let you record it at this courthouse. You're entitled to get the discovery somehow.
Uh-huh.
And so that would be my argument, and like I said, I'd help you out.
Okay.
And if they still give a shit, then we'll take it and we'll escalate it, and maybe I have to meet you in the library. You know?
Okay, alright.
But we're going to have to go through the process.
Alright. Well,
Mr. Eric Witcher is the director of our office right now, so
alright.
pretty specific, so I got to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish I knew where he was taking his orders from.
Well, I get it. I mean, imagine if, because right now it is still feasible to do the courthouse, and then just imagine other lawyers having to go to a library to, I mean, I know you're kind of a special case, but he has to think about, like, what if every case we had to go meet some client in a coffee house or library.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep.
you know, because it's so special, you're just going to have to deal with it this way.
Yeah, well, he should be on the phone getting this straightened out because it's obviously unconstitutional.
I don't want to make any more waves than we need to, because you want to know what I think. I think that when you're with me, no one's going to bother us.
Why is it I don't have any rights unless I'm a lawyer? I'm an American citizen.
I just know what I think is going to happen. I think we're going to be fine.
Well, I shouldn't have to rely on you to have my rights.
I know. I guess you're in South Dakota and they see me as a guy that's going to have to come in every day, so they treat me a little bit better. I don't know.
It shouldn't be that way. I'm a member of the public.
I know.
I should be given more respect than you.
Well, equal respect. But just on a basic level, everyone should respect everybody.
Right. But they don't respect me. What's the deal? Why do they discriminate against me? Why don't they respect me?
I don't know. You can ask them if you want.
Yep, definitely will.
Yeah, I don't know.
But my complaint is that you agree with the way they think.
No, I don't. I really don't. And I want to let you know I'm on your team on this.
But I don't know why I need to be with you before I get equal rights. That's my complaint. Why is it I got to be a lawyer for them to respect me?
Because you have this little case surrounding this building, and then I guess whatever your issues with Matt Sharn, or I forget his
Sergeant?
name.
And you're awesome.
Sergeant?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess you just kind of seem to have a history. I don't know the whole history.
Well, they caused this problem. I just went there for some help, like a citizen, and then they trespassed. Huh?
You think I'm trying to help?
I don't think so. I think maybe you're taking orders from somebody that's gonna mess up this case.
Okay. Well, I'm just trying to tell you that I'm actually trying to help you.
All right.
You do have a pretty special issue, and I'm giving you the time. It's a lot of time to spend on this, and they're willing to do it.
Yeah.
A lot of attorneys won't put up with it, I promise you, especially private.
All right. Well, I'll see when we go to court then, because
If you want to go private, you can always go private, and then kind of see that way too. Like if you do, I won't be mad or anything. So I
Right.
can give you options, whatever you want to do.
Nobody wants this case anyways. I want to change a venue. That's what I want.
Okay.
In the end, I'm the victim on this, so they're just gonna have to pay me back. I don't know if you understand that or not.
Yeah, and that would be through a civil case. But we can't get anything done on that end with this file. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah. I understand that.
It really depends on the outcome of this case as to whether you can even have the potential of doing a civil case against them.
Yep.
And then it really would take kind of the right attorney to work it.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I think if you did it on your own, they'll they call things like you have to exhaust your administrative remedies. I was the federal law clerk for Dutch Columbia and Aberdeen. Every person seems that didn't have even the right lawyer. Some even if they had a lawyer, they still would not procedurally do the right things. So that's a long road. I would just kind of put that, cross that bridge when we get there. But I'm glad you let me know. I mean, that's your plan. But
Yeah.
I really want to just get you out of this.
Yeah. Well, I was definitely innocent. Yeah. I shouldn't have any problem beating this, right? Have you seen the video?
No, I'm just saying it still takes work.
Oh, yeah. All right. Are they trying to get jail time out of this, or are they gonna? Do we know yet if it's gonna be a jury trial or?
We don't know, and that's gonna be the dispo. So when we find out that dispo hearing, we'll find out what they want.
Is that gonna be?
And obviously, we won't take it, but at least we'll know what their position is.
Yeah. Is the 17th supposed to be the dispo? Is that what's scheduled right now?
Yep. And that's
Okay.
kind of what I'm saying is like I get why you want to be there for it. But just like for logistic reasons, all they're gonna tell us, or I'll tell you kind of how it goes, is we show up at 1. The state kind of shows up at like 110 or 105. They'll just tell us what they. It's just like they're not gonna waver. It's not a time for negotiation. They just say this is our offer, and then we talk about it. And based on what we talked about, it's really not going to change anything. We're going to just set it for trial. So that's what I intend on happening. So I guess, and then I would just relay the information, let you know, like that day or the day after what happened. But it's up to you. What I'd like to do is have one big meeting, whether it's in the library or whatever. And that's when we'll go over and really prepare for like a court trial. That's what I see happening. Obviously, we'll go for the jury trial. But then what like the move of the state always does with this is then they'll say, Judge, we're not seeking any suspended or real jail time. And when they do that, then your right to a jury trial goes away because your liberty is no longer at stake. And that's kind of what your constitutional right kicks in. So then, basically, they have to tell the judge that we're only seeking a fine. Then you would only be entitled to a court trial, which is just a trial in front of the judge, and that's it. But just wanted you to be prepared or to understand what's going on if that happens.
All right. How do I get copies of the videos?
We'll have to go through that, actually. Do you want them on a disc?
Flash drive, I think would be best.
Okay, you might then. That was my main question because the flash drives are on kind of like a weird, like we pretty much share them. The state, it's like through the county, so you might have to buy your own flash drive. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, I just give you a flash drive and you give me a copy?
I think that's my best step.
Okay.
You're entitled to it.
All right. How many gigs do you think you need? And I'll mail it to you.
I don't know right now, so I'll just, what I'll have to do is pull up the CD, and then you can do like a right click on that link, and usually that'll give you the file size. I know they come in like 8 gigs, that's kind of like the lowest measurement I've seen lately. You're probably going to be just fine with that, but maybe just wait.
All right.
Because we're going to do this meeting later down the road, and I'll get you that. We'll be ready by then.
All right. I kind of want to see it right away. If I get your address, I'll mail it to you, and then I'll send you a self-addressed stamped envelope, and you can mail the flash drive back after you copy it on there.
I'll give you the address.
Okay.
So our address is 130 Kansas City Street.
Okay. And I'll just address that to you and add a self-addressed stamped envelope then.
And then it's 130 Kansas City Street, and then Suite 310.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
57701.
57701.
Okay. All right.
Well,
All right.
Yeah, we'll work with you on that.
All right. Thank you, man.
Yep, no problem.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
have someone come with you.
Okay.
Are you good with that?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. You've been great every time I've been with you, so.
I've been great every time I come here. I've never broke the law.
That's what I'm telling you.
Yeah, even at the police department.
Well, I wasn't there. Every
Yeah, I
time you're with
understand
me, I can only explain what you're like with me. And you're awesome.
that. All right, cool.
Fair
Appreciate
enough.
it. Yep.
All right.
All right, thank you, man.
Yep.